Good afternoon. Great day. So yesterday, former Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali Bennett, was being interviewed by a BBC reporter, Anjana Gadgil, about Israel's operation in Jenin that Israel was doing to protect the citizens. And the reporter had the nerve and audacity to accuse Israel and the IDF force of being happy to kill children. And although Naftali Bennett pointed out to her that these weren't children, these were terrorists, people with guns, people who were trying to kill innocent people, and that it's not Israel's fault if 17-year-olds become terrorists, she accused Israel of being happy to kill children. The audacity of the media. We always know that the media, and especially BBC, has a tenacity for falseness and for trying to change the narrative of what's going on in Israel. Israel was forced, as I mentioned on Sunday, to go into Jenin because Israel has to protect its citizens. And Jenin has become a hotbed. It's become a place just like Gaza in the West Bank, where people are manufacturing rockets and having ammunition and terror cells. And Israel had no choice but to go in there to protect its citizens, innocent citizens. And here you have a BBC reporter trying to accuse Israel of being happy to kill children when they go to protect their citizens. And they make it as if Israel is the Goliath against David, the poor Palestinians. But the truth is the opposite. We are one nation of 10 million people surrounded by a sea of 1 billion Arabs, almost 1 billion Muslims who all want to annihilate us. So we are the David, and we are the ones that are trying to protect ourselves. And it's interesting because in this week's Torah portion we read the story of Pinchas. There was a rebellion against Moses, and Zimri, one of the leaders, tried to make a rebellion against Moses, and Pinchas goes along and kills Zimri. And people weren't sure, did Pinchas do the right thing? Was Pinchas actually guilty of murder, or was he protecting the Jewish people? Until the opening of this week's Torah portion, where the Torah tells us, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen, Pinchas the son of Elazar, the son of Aaron the Kohen, not only did he calm God's wrath against the Jews, but I give him my sign of peace. The Torah gives witness. The Torah gives a testimony that Pinchas is a man of peace. And the first question is, usually the Torah tells us a man's name, they tells us the father's name. Why does he tell us the grandfather's name? And the rabbis tell us that the reason why the Torah tells us the grandfather's name is because Aaron was the grandfather. And the Torah wants us to know that don't think that Pinchas did this to kill. Pinchas, on the contrary, was the grandson of Aaron, who loved peace and who pursued peace. But here he had no choice. And the second interesting thing that happens in this week's Torah portion, the word shalom, where God says he gives his covenant of peace to Pinchas, the vav of shalom is broken. And usually we know in the Torah that when a letter is broken, it invalidates the Torah. The letters have to be complete. But over here, the Torah specifically tells us not just that the letter is allowed to be broken, but it has to be broken. And the answer the rabbis give is something very powerful. You know, some people feel and believe that peace only comes through love, and peace only comes through being weak. But what the Torah is trying to tell us here is that sometimes, in order to get peace, you need to have strength. In order to protect the innocent, you need to sometimes kill the terrorists. In order to show love to those who are innocent, you sometimes have to have the strongest army in the world. And that's the story in this week's Torah portion. And the Torah says the word shalom, because Hineni noten lo et brisi shalom. Yes, Pinchas had to murder, but through that murder he brought peace. Israel has to go into the Gaza Strip. Israel has to go in to Judea and Samaria. And sometimes they have to use force, and sometimes people get killed. But true peace comes through strength. True peace comes through protecting its citizens. And that's what Israel has to do. And that's why the Vav of Shalom is broken. And that's why we get Pinchas' name. Sorry that my connection is slow and breaking up, just like the letter Vav, it's broken. But in any case, that's the reason why Pinchas is attributed to his grandfather, and that's why the letter Vav is broken here, to teach us the power and to know with the knowledge that yes, sometimes you have to go to war to bring peace. Chamberlain came back with a piece of paper. He had made peace with Hitler. It was a piece of paper and was the cause of World War II. Winston Churchill knew that a piece of paper was a fake appeasement and peace. That in order to have peace in the world, we needed to show the strongest force against Hitler to protect the citizens of the world. And the same thing is true, and Israel must remember always that yes, sometimes we have to be strong and an army, and we have to do things that we don't want to. We have to go into a place like Jenin that is a hotbed for terrorism and caused 36 people to be killed this year in Israel alone, innocent citizens. Unfortunately, Israel's operation was very strong in Jenin, and it accomplished everything it did. But on the way out, a lovely Israeli soldier, Yaakov Yehuda Yitzchak, was killed. This was a soldier in an elite force, in an elite unit in Israel. And he was from Bethel. And just like Aaron the Kohen and Pinchas, he was a man who had pursued and embraced love and peace, but had to do it through strength. He was involved in an organization, like a friendship circle, that helped people with special needs. And although he went to the army, when he came home on Yom Kippur every year, he would go back to this child that he was involved with, whose name was Nadav Cohen, and he would tell his parents, come, let him be with me for a few hours, and I'm not in the army, and I could spend time with him. And this child is having a bar mitzvah tonight in Bethel, and this is what they said at the bar mitzvah about this heroic soldier, who was a soldier in an elite force, but was like Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. He was a man who, although wore a uniform and a gun and fought for his nation, was a man who pursued peace. May Israel always remember that true peace comes from strength. And although the Torah is full of the word shalom, it says the world was only created to bring peace. And shalom is the word we use most when we say the Birchat Kohanim. It finishes with shalom. And every day we say, Oseh shalom b'morah. We ask God to make peace. But let's not fool ourselves, and let's know that peace comes through strength and through might. And let not any BBC reporter who hates Israel, or all those who try to demonize and demagogue Israel, let's not fool ourselves, and let's remember to be strong and bring peace through security, bring peace through strength. God bless you and have a great day.